they'll put the skin on there and the containers on there. Yes, sir.
In that preview mode, wouldn't that help you though with regard to your pane names and where your content's going to be oriented?
Well, it can. Yes, it can. Absolutely. So as you can see, what I just described, I clicked on it, so I'm previewing the actual skin, but all the containers are still the D&M gray. So that's not, as I said before, an accurate representation of what the page will actually look like. But you can see the pane names. There's bottom name there, or bottom pane, excuse me, right pane, content pane, which is required, right? Top pane, left pane. Okay. So that just opened up in a new tab, so I'm able to close that out, and I'm still back here. And you can see all my containers there. Oop, I have two other ones that have no screenshot. That will. And then here's my about link, right? Which is obviously not required, but it gives you the ability to add some more information to your skin package. All right. So before we look at code, any questions about managing where your skins are and installing them and whatnot? Uninstalling them is as easy as deleting the folder where they live. Okay. There's no GUI on the site to uninstall them, but you can go to your file system, delete the folder that they're in, they're gone. All right. Now, in doing that, it's probably not a good idea unless you check on your website first to see if you get that little message saying that the skin's in use or not, because then you'll run into errors. Okay. All right. So let's look at an actual skin package. So what I'm going to do real quick here is I'm going to apply the Kimberley skin package all over the site. And then I'm going to apply, let's see here, let's apply this one, the container to the entire site. So I just did that to the entire site, and now the logo looks all crappy. And I just changed the entire site with a couple clicks. So let's see what makes it look like that. See, I just unzipped that, and now I got two file folders in here, containers.zip, skins.zip. I'm going to extract those as well. And when I'm playing with somebody else's skin, when I was first starting this is exactly how I learned how to skin. I took somebody else's skins package, I unzipped it, I started looking at the files, like, oh, that's how that works. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the skin itself. Containers are much easier. So I'm going to go, this is the blue line one. I'm going to open up the blue line one. So portal blue line, there it is, portalblueline.html. As you can see, I'm not using the user control method to do this. Main reason being because I sell this. All right. So as you can see, this is a table-based skin. There's nothing above the table, so you don't see any header information. Excuse me, pardon me. You don't see any header information such as the HTML tag, the body tag, the title tag, any of that stuff. You don't see any of this wrapped in a body. That's important. You shouldn't. Now, when you first create your skin, I would suggest doing that so that way when you're working in your IDE, you get an accurate representation of what that's going to look like somewhat when that skin's actually deployed. But this is table-based skin, so you can see I got keywords in here like logo, sole part menu, which we don't use anymore. The current date, so that puts the date on the page. So you can start to see how some of that relates to the content on this page. But if I'm a designer, I don't need to know how to do any of that stuff. It's right there. I just use a keyword. It's done for me. All right. So in here, there's anybody not familiar with HTML and CSS? Do I need to explain this in greater detail? Okay. So I got table cells with particular class names. So when I look at this particular cell, the class name is logo cell. So if I was to go into my skin package, all right, I'm going to look for my skin.css, all right, or I would have created it. Here's my skin.css. All right. So when I look through this, I'm going to start to see styles in here. Now, one thing I will tell you, if you're going to be creating your own skin, I'm going to go in here to my to an installed version. Actually, I should do that here. To an installed version of the website. Okay, so right here, let's minimize this one. Right here, we're looking at a version of .NET that has been installed. Okay, where your skins goes in the portals folder, and when you install them as an admin, it goes into one of the numbered folders for the portal you're logged in as. When you install them as a host, they go into the defaults folder. So you can see a skins folder. See, there's DNN blue, DNN gray. in a containers folder, DNN Boone, DNN Gray.
That's how I had to install the skin I put in.
Yeah, and it works off the file system, so that's very easy to do. Now, when I look at the default, something I wanted to show you here is there's a default.css. Okay, this default.css is what .NET will load on every page load. So if there's something about .NET that you need to modify, take the style out of here and then override it in your skin. All right, so like for instance, skin object links, I need to make sure that they're never this particular color, but I need to make sure they're always white. You need to take that from your skin and put it into, from their skin, or not take it out of it, but copy it and put it into your own particular skin file. So you put it over here. Do you have any good examples here? Like main menu, okay? .NET has its own definitions of these particular classes for the menu provider. All right. So I went in there and I said, okay, well, I don't want it to look like .NET, so I want to look at like mine. So I went in there and I copied the styles and then I just changed them the way I needed them to be to make it look right for my particular design. Does that make sense?
So, and you're doing that because when you upgrade, that's a core file for .NET.
Well, a little bit. The reason we want to take it from the default.css, that's one of the reasons. Another reason is if you take it out of the default CSS, that'll also mess up some other things that are DNN related to particular admin modules and things like that. So that'll have a global effect on your entire installation of .NET as well. All right. So if you do your default.css, you change something there, every single portal that has been installed in that particular instance will have been changed. Exactly. So you only want to change your skin. All right. You want things to match for your particular design for your particular site. Is there any other questions on how CSS affects it? All right. So this is very simple. We have particular table cells to wrap particular, sometimes nested tables, which is generally a no-no. It's done right here. And this actually has been updated. I don't have the updated version on this particular machine. I'm sorry. So instead of seeing a nested table here, you would see a div. Okay, so we have the skin objects. Now, one thing you notice with skin objects is I have a breadcrumb here, all right, with a TD class of breadcrumbs. So when I go look at my CSS, I'm going to bring that down one more time. Sorry, just for this last example here. I'm going to look for breadcrumbs. All right, here they are right here. So here I'm giving it a little bit of padding. I'm telling it to be a certain color, but I'm doing that for a table cell. Well, what if I wanted the links inside the breadcrumb to be a little bit different, and the text be a little bit different? Because there's some. Oh, and what if I want a separator in between each breadcrumb? There's no way to do that with that particular token. So something that's a necessary evil in skins when it comes to designers, and designers hate this. All right. So if you go to have to train your designer, this is going to be a hurdle. You'll have a skin.xml, all right, and in there you'll have your token name, and the documentation for .NET skinning goes over this pretty well. And that's the only thing I actually use the documentation for, is to see what attributes there are for certain tokens. But you'll see that I have a token name, all right, and XML is fairly. Is anybody here not familiar with XML? Okay. Well,
I'm doing all of it.
Okay, XML is fairly simple. You can see that token, the value inside there is relating to a particular token. So when you start fiddling with this, it'll seem pretty self-explanatory. But I will tell you this: since you are fiddling with it from the file system, I would tell you to stop until you get a better understanding of how the skinning works. Because if you want to change, for instance, the CSS class that the breadcrumbs uses, and you go change the XML file and go look at your site, you're going to be disappointed. The site has to be the skin has to be uploaded again in order for this parsing to happen and change your HTML skin file. But the user controls don't have that problem. The user controls, you change that. Yes, is it already 5?
Huh?
Oh crap! So then you put this all into a zip file, and as you saw me go backwards, I apologize, I didn't look at the time. You take it backwards, you zip up your containers into containers, your skins into skins, put it in your package, and I already went through the install. You just install it onto your site. All right. We have to go for giveaways. We have to go for giveaways. So if you after the giveaways, I'm still going to be here for a while. So if you have more questions, you want me to show you something else, I'm more than happy to. I'll be over there in just a minute. All right. Thank you for coming. Sorry I ran over.